The altar you keep returning to. Why people sacrifice their future for familiarity. Most people think altars are made of stone, but some of the most powerful altars are invisible. They are the places we keep returning to, the mindsets we keep returning to, the wounds we keep returning to, the relationships we keep returning to, the fears we keep returning to, the habits we keep returning to, the conversations we keep returning to, the versions of ourselves we keep returning to. An altar is simply a place of exchange. Something is always being given and something is always being received. The question is, what are you sacrificing on the altar you keep returning to? Because many people are sacrificing their future on the altar of familiarity. They keep laying destiny down to pick comfort up. They keep laying growth down to pick safety up. They keep laying purpose down to pick predictability up. The reason this is so dangerous is because familiarity feels safe, even when it is unhealthy, even when it is painful, even when it is keeping you bound. Human nature often chooses familiar pain over unfamiliar freedom. That is why some people return to relationships they prayed to get out of, return to mindsets they were delivered from, return to environments that nearly destroyed them. Return to cycles that God already brought them through, not because they are weak, because familiarity feels like home, even when home is hurting them. The children of Israel are a perfect example. They cried for deliverance in Egypt, but once they got into the wilderness, they started talking about going back to bondage, back to slavery, back to chains, not because Egypt was good, because Egypt was familiar. Freedom was unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity can be frightening. Many people are asking for a new season while still emotionally worshiping at old altars. They want new relationships, but keep returning to old wounds. They want new opportunities, but keep returning to old fears. They want new levels, but keep returning to old thinking. They want healing, but keep feeding what wounded them. The fivefold ministry struggles with this as well. Some apostles keep returning to old methods because they are familiar. Some prophets keep returning to old battles because warfare has become comfortable. Some pastors keep returning to unhealthy patterns of overextending themselves. Some teachers keep returning to information while avoiding transformation. Some evangelists keep returning to old approaches because change feels risky. And slowly, what once served them becomes what limits them. The tragedy is that many people do not realize they are worshiping at these altars because altars do not always look spiritual. Sometimes the altar is an old offense. Sometimes the altar is fear. Sometimes the altar is approval. Sometimes the altar is comparison. Sometimes the altar is being needed. Sometimes the altar is the need to be right. Every time you return to it, you place something on it, your peace, your growth, your confidence, your obedience, your future. And then wonder why progress feels difficult, because altars always require sacrifices. The deeper revelation is this: the enemy does not always need to destroy you. He only needs to keep inviting you back to the altar you were supposed to leave, back to the thought process, back to the wound, back to the insecurity, back to the fear, back to the offense, back to the familiar. Because if he can keep you returning, he can keep you repeating. And if he can keep you repeating, he can keep you from becoming. There comes a moment when every believer must decide, will I continue sacrificing my future to what feels familiar? Or will I finally walk away from the altar? Because destiny is rarely found in what is familiar. Destiny is usually waiting on the other side of what feels uncomfortable. The people who grow are not always the strongest. They are the ones willing to leave the altar behind, the ones willing to stop revisiting what God already called them out of, the ones willing to stop negotiating with what almost destroyed them, the ones willing to stop romanticizing seasons they once prayed to escape. And I believe many people are standing at that crossroads right now. One path leads back to what is familiar. The other leads forward into what is possible. One path repeats history. The other creates it. One path protects comfort. The other releases purpose. The altar is waiting. The future is waiting. The question is, which one will you keep returning to?